Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adrian Gunadi. I'm the co-founder and chairman of Investree. We are a pioneer in Indonesia's peer-to-peer lending, connecting between borrowers and lenders. Indonesia itself, as you know, one of the largest economies, especially in Southeast Asia, has great potentials. If you look at the demographics, you look at the growth in terms of the GDP, it has truly shown great potentials. But obviously, there is still a gap in terms of the banking penetration. If you look at the banking penetration in terms of consumer loan to GDP, 10%. Business loan to GDP is around 40%. That combines between micro, corporate, as well as commercial. So if you look at the statistics, 57% of Indonesian borrow money, 42% still borrow from friends and families. Yeah. Kalau lagi BU, you go to friends and families. 13% they go to a financial institution, banks, multi-finance, and 3% from informal lenders. So on the flip side, you have this investor problem. Very high barrier to entry for individuals to invest in Indonesia. Very limited instruments in the market for short-term investments, obviously providing attractive yields, but secured. So if you look at the data, individuals who own IDX accounts in the stock market is only around 450,000, 0.3% penetration. Even individuals who invest in mutual funds is less than 1%. So obviously, there is that opportunity for peer-to-peer lending. So Investree, which we have launched effectively end of January 2016, is truly becoming a new landmark in the Indonesian financial industry, as we are providing an alternative for borrowers and an alternative investments for investors. So we are Indonesia's online marketplace, connecting consumers who wants to borrow as well as businesses who wants to borrow. We focus on two products. We have personal or employee loans and business loans, led by seasoned professionals. Obviously, myself, almost 20 years in banking, doing corporate banking, retail, micro, consumer, and obviously we are enhancing yields for investors and making it more affordable and accessible for borrowers. We use a combination of traditional scoring model, credit scoring model. Obviously, Indonesia is a key. How do you score Indonesia? How do you score with a lack of infrastructure, credit infrastructure? So we combine both traditional scoring model, which we built, along with other behavior scoring models that we have to assess a certain borrower. And everything is facilitated online, digitally. Even the signing of the loan agreement is done through a digital online platform. And we utilize virtual accounts through our partner bank, which is Bank Dana One at this point in time, to facilitate the funds flow. So we don't hold the money. I think that's one of the key differences. We are not a finance company. We're not a bank, but we are a marketplace that connects between borrowers and lenders. So essentially, if you look at the traditional banking business, you place a deposit within the bank, and then the bank would then, based on their underwriting criteria or risk allocation strategy, define which or how much they place in commercial, corporate, or micro. In peer-to-peer lending, you get to decide where you want to allocate the funds, at what tenor, at what return, based on your risk profile, obviously, and based on your liquidity position. In the end, for borrowers, obviously, this is an attractive model because one, speed is of essence, simplicity, everything is online, and competitive rates. We benchmark the rates with tier 2 banks in Indonesia, which we believe, obviously, the intention is how we can support the SME, how we can support the borrowers here. And again, for the lenders, everything is done through the marketplace where we have a structured loan agreement. So the process is one borrower can be lent or can be invested by several lenders. So the crowdfunding happens and risk diversification happens. So for lenders, it's obviously better returns compared to bank deposits. Secure transaction, we don't hold the money, as I mentioned. So every lender would have a specific virtual account, and then the fund goes through that virtual account. Every lenders who participate in a specific loan would have agreement. And obviously transparency, we disclose all the information relevant to the borrower for the lenders to make an investment decision. These are the two financing products that we have at this point in time. We do, on the business side, we do invoice financing. Obviously, this is geared to address the SME of Indonesia. We call it the missing middle because one, they're too small, basically for a corporate or commercial loan, but they're too big for a micro loan. So we identify that segment as a missing middle. Invoice financing, working capital purpose, tenor up to 12 months, and indicative pricing is 14 to 20% per annum. Collateral, it's semi-unsecured, we call it. We use invoice as a fiduciary, post-dated check, and personal guarantee. And I think what's different than a bank is that you have a funding period of 14 days. We use that funding period as a fundraising process. So once it is scored, verified, it is then posted in the marketplace where the funding process starts. For the employee loan, right now we structure it as a B2B partnership with employers. So let's say we work together with Astra, we work together with Trakindo to provide employee financing for their employees. The idea is why not outsource or white label your employee loan process to peer-to-peer lending? Because banks obviously have their own set of criteria. They have a minimum number of employees that has to be onboarded. And we are more flexible in the sense that we can also do contract workers, because when we do a 12-month process, we are quite confident in terms of the risk mitigation can still be enhanced. Indicative pricing is 1.2% to 2.5% flat per month, which is in market more competitive compared to your personal loan rates. It's unsecured, but we have a salary reduction. That's why we work together with the employee on a monthly basis. We do a salary reduction, and the funding period is 5 days, but the scoring results can be generated in a matter of minutes. So all the data inputted, in a matter of minutes you get the scoring, and then once the borrower approves the term sheet, it's posted in the marketplace where the funding period happens. And this is actually the marketplace that we see. We have two products right now. So it's quite simple, where lenders can choose. You can choose based on your risk criteria and risk appetite. So you have an A2, a B3, which actually identifies the risk profile of that business. It's a combination of the borrower itself, the invoice, who is giving out the invoice. Let's say Unilever, Telkomsel, obviously those are good names, good credits, which will obviously improve. At this point in time, we only limit the invoices from state-owned companies, listed companies, as well as multinationals. So that is our underwriting criteria. Employee loan, this is what we have posted. So you can see people actually input what their requirements are. If you look at it, saya ingin merenovasi rumah, so that's actually being inputted by the borrower. So they say that, you know, if you look at it, sebagian untuk dana pendidikan anak. So actually this is actually them inputting the uses of financing, and then people can then crowdfund to participate in this offering. This is the management team. So I think we are a gray-haired startup. We have combined 60 years of professional experience. Myself from Citi, Stanchart, Bank Muamalat. Deres, our CRO, who developed the scoring engine, formerly retail risk of Bank Danamon, and Dicky, our CIO, combined tech and analytics from Astra, Telkomsel. This is our portfolio to date. So we have processed close to about 7 billion loans, average ticket size about 200 million. If you look at the industry profile, 28% from creative industry. So this is an interesting statistic whereby we are providing access for creative industry, which were not touched by banks. If you look at the average funding period, is 5 days. So within 5 days, the loans gets funded. We have around 500 registered users on our platform, The average return for the lenders is 16.7%. Now, if I show this, all of the banks will obviously be quite upset, but fact of life is that you have to disclose this information. Right now, short term, average loan tenor is 45 days and zero default. So we launched Semua Bisa Tumbuh. So we officially launched about 31st of May with a tagline of Semua Bisa Tumbuh. So obviously through Investree, everyone can grow. You can grow as a borrower, you can grow as a lender, you can even grow as an agent. We have a referral program coming up, and obviously we are supporting the growth of the Indonesian economy. Thank you.